Last overtime win at home, right? Feels great. It feels good. I feel like yesterday we might have deserved to win more than today, but I guess it evens out. And I'm glad we found a way. We stuck with it. It wasn't an easy win. It wasn't pretty, but in the end we found a way, and that's what matters. Good teams find a way to win.
What was it like playing in front of your parents for the first time in a UMass uniform?
That was great. I wasn't a big fan of a big gap between warming up and then maybe 30 minutes of anthems in a row, but sort of like gets your legs a bit cold. But on that, it was great. I was glad that they could come out. I'm sure it's a great experience for them, and I can't wait to see what they have to say about it.
As a defenseman, what did you make of the defensive battle tonight and last night as well?
Well, it was two different rinks, two different sizes. I felt like it was a little easier to close yesterday, a little less space, easier to eat it up. But both nights, they're the type of team that like to grind it out and dump the pucks in. So it was mostly about being determined to touch first and working with your D partner about getting out of the zone and making simple plays. And I feel like for the most part we were doing a good job of that.
I think it was huge tonight. You guys killed 5 from off. What's it like, especially being one of the top penalty killers on this team?
Well, it was good. We haven't had consistent success, but I feel like we really made a step, especially like in terms of getting aggressive on the loose pucks, and it really makes a difference. It gives us that clear and gives us fresh legs out there, and allows us to keep being aggressive on the PK because we play a really aggressive style of penalty kill. And we had some huge blocks out there, which was really important. And Stavi did a great job when we couldn't block it. So everything was clicking there, and we had a good support of each other. And when it was tough, we just just buried down and did what we could do.
Can you remember a game like that with such an emotional low followed by 30 seconds later at such an emotional high?
To be honest, probably not. I think if it ever happened to me when in overtime it gets scored on and then it gets disallowed and then you score, it's not in my career, haven't happened, but I feel like it's a pretty rare occasion. But that was great. That was absolutely fantastic to win, and just the fact that we had to come back to the bench after the goal and wait for the referees to review that was pretty bad, but they counted the goal, so that was great.
Coach, do you just have any general reactions to tonight's game?
Happy for our team. Obviously, really happy for our seniors for the effort that they've put into the program, and to leave Mullins for the last time with success. It's very, very important for them and very important for the program as we continue to develop the family atmosphere here. So. I thought Oleg touched on it. I don't know if the emotion and the unusual timing of the pregame, winds up having us be a little bit flat early. But I thought our guys did a fantastic job of, regaining some energy and getting back to playing the game that we want to play and taking more pucks away and, utilizing our forecheck and our offensive zone play to wear teams down. So, it's 120 whatever minutes on the weekend of pretty grueling hockey. I know that our guys are, probably physically and emotionally really tired right now, and I would guess that they are as well, not only from the play, but from the emotional highs and lows of, the way that both games were officiated and reviews and all that went into the weekend. So, but again, as Oleg said, the opportunity that we seized tonight and found a way to win against a really, really good team and a difficult team to play against was, I think, very rewarding.
And I know you weren't happy with last night's game time goal call, but what were you thinking tonight when that goal was overturned?
I was just thinking about how we could win. At that point, it's, in both situations, you're trying to manage your own personal emotions as a coach and a competitor, and, also trying to make sure that you're managing your guys' emotions and focus. And, even after we scored, I still didn't know who, to be honest with you, and no disrespect to Frank, I had no idea who had scored our goal to win it. but now it goes to review, and you're trying to manage our guys. We're excited, and we think we win, but as we've seen in the last 48 hours, nothing's sure. As much as we'd like to think that replay is going to always be correct, we have to be ready for another puck drop and another minute 10 seconds of play. So, those are mostly my thoughts.
Coach, it showed in the overtime goal, but how important has Brandon Montour's ability been to break kind of the zone entry? He was able to establish the zone, and he did it a few other times tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen in general that as we've developed as a team over the course of the year, that our zone exits have been, much better. And obviously we go through our progressions about puck movement, getting pucks moving north out of the zone, being able to carry, and then our last one getting, obviously getting pucks up off the glass and out. So, Brandon has a, fantastic skating ability, and his ability to control the puck and get us out of the zone and separate from guys on the forecheck, it has helped. But I think, his addition has also aided our team's ability to do that across the board.
Frank, what was your mindset when the goal in overtime was overturned and you realized you'd be going back out on the ice?
I just had to stay ready. I know all the guys were still ready. We weren't sure, what the call was going to be because they just overturned Providence, so maybe they would have been making a makeup call, but the goal, they counted it, and we were still ready even if they weren't going to count it as a goal.
Frank, you told me before you skate every shift like it's your last. What was it like going out there on that final shift with Dennis and I think it was Troy? I could be wrong, sorry. But what was it like going out there knowing that you guys didn't have much time getting ready to try and win?
That was good. We just treated like every other shift. Just play hard, get pucks in deep, and go to work. And Brandon picked up the puck very nicely and circled the zone. I think Marquette threw the puck to the net, and it was kind of just a flurry in front. And it was just laying right there for me. I got a few hacks at it, and I didn't know if it went in or not, but I saw everyone come off the bench, and it was pretty rewarding.
Steve, it's kind of been an up and down year for you. How rewarding is it to go out of your last UMass game with a 40 something save performance?
Yeah, it's definitely good. Most of all, it's good to go out with Oleg and all the other seniors together. It's been a tough 4 years here. Not winning all the time, but at the same time, it's been a great time, and it's a good way to go out with it. So.
Steve, we already asked Oleg, what's it like, just a game like this, overtime, the last game of the Mullen Center, coming out, making a save on a breakaway like you did, just playing a game this big. How does it feel for you coming off this game?
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely an exciting way to go out. It's probably the longest weekend we've had all year. 2 overtime games and a lot of checking and a lot of shots my way. And so, going out with an overtime win, that's pretty special.
Going off that, Coach, what's impressed you the most about these guys? Just like a little bit of a wrap up about these seniors. What's been your favorite thing about this class?
I think the best part about them this year is how they've been able to control the room and keep us moving forward, and that's been really important with our development as a team. Obviously we had some early success. We went on the road at Michigan State. We went down and beat Northeastern, and then we hit a rough patch. That has been well documented in November and early December. And we could have very easily just gone really, really south right there. But I think you've seen, having covered us here, how much we've stayed with it, despite a lot of ups and downs, a lot of adversities, some that we create ourselves, and some, that were external. And that's really a credit to our seniors, not only the guys that wear the C and the A, but they've obviously wanted to have an impact on the program. And they have, we're not going to win the league championship trophy this year. We know that, but what they've done for us so far, and will continue to do for us for a while, because we're certainly expecting to keep playing for a while. Has certainly been appreciated, and I think you see how fond our underclassmen are of our seniors. And that's probably speaks volumes to what they've done with the team in the room.
Steve, 82 saves these past 2 games. Do you feel like you're peaking at the right time of the season? And can you just take us through these past 2 games, Steve?
Yeah, I felt comfortable all weekend. Just trying to stay even, not get too high, too low. Whether we score no one in or whatever the case may be. So, even today when that goal went in, I just kept going. Overtime when they scored, I was just hoping to get overturned and get another chance to get in there. And luckily Frank buried one, so that helps. And it's definitely a tough weekend. Got hit a couple times, but it's all worth it now. So.
Steve, the penalty killing was really good tonight. A couple guys, I think it was
Jacobellis.
Yeah, took it on
Yeah.
took it on the hand. Can you talk about how important the guys blocking shots in front of you were?
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday was as well. I think we were maybe perfect yesterday. I'm not sure, but so yeah, all weekend, and the last couple of weeks have been really, really good. Blocks up top have been pretty key, and having Oleg in front of you helps a lot. He takes up some space out there. So yeah, blocks are probably the biggest part about a PK, I'd say.
Coach, what did you see from Madison Smiley tonight?
Well, it's nice that he got rewarded with his first goal. We put him in an odd spot. A guy who's played defense, and all of a sudden we're asking him to play forward. But I think these guys will attest to he never skipped a beat. Just made the transition, attacked it in practice. Obviously he was. He got the Hammer Award tonight. He laid a couple of big hits. He was in on the forecheck. Was ready in front of the net on a nice play by Jacobellis to funnel in the puck. I think it speaks to, and we've talked about it in this room a couple of times, just the next man up mentality. We have had, Patty Lee went down today. Obviously Dominic Trento wasn't available. Steve Jacobellis was out of the rotation there for a while after taking the shot block. Guys just continue to fill roles and pick up their play whenever we've asked them. And Madison tonight and the last couple of nights at the forward spot has certainly continued to do that for us.
And how has this transition gone for him? Has he played forward before?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
a little
he
bit
told
when
me
he was young. Yeah. I mean, in his junior career, during the recruiting process, it was never something that he's done. But he's got a great little snapshot. Again, he can get rid of it in a hurry, and it gets on top of goaltenders real quickly. Obviously, he's a good solid body. So we figured on the forecheck, he could get in and stir it up a little bit, and he's certainly been able to do that. I know he wasn't happy that he put the team down a couple of times with the penalties, but it seemed kind of odd that they were calling stick fouls and not a lot of the tackling that was going on. So it's just kind of the unfortunate part of the way that the game was called for him.
Steve, I got to know, what was going through your head on that breakaway?
I was just trying to.
Where is everybody?
Yeah, that too. No, but I actually saw I think it was Boston going to change, so I kind of had an idea what was going to happen when I saw the turnover. So it wasn't totally unexpected. They didn't catch him, so I got time to get out and get enough space and stay square to him. So I thought he was going to shoot 5-hole, but just kind of just stuck with it. No real key to it. So.
Coach, this is the happiest I've ever seen you. What's it like putting up a huge run?
Again, our guys battled. I'm really happy for him. It's a difficult weekend. To go in and play as hard as we did last night, and not be rewarded is really hard. It's hard for competitors to do that, and so for us to again turn the page, and that's what we talked about this morning, and come out and again manage the game and the ups and downs of it and highs and lows, because there were plenty of them. Like I say, I'm just excited for the guys because it's important for our seniors, and I think it's important for our younger guys to know how valuable this is, for these guys. And so for these guys going forward, it's important to note how important and what it means to pull the jersey over your head and not to take that for granted. And, so again, all those things kind of coming together, and obviously getting league points, that's kind of gravy on top of the mashed potatoes for us right now.
Frank, this is last week for me. I know you've had a terrific season so far, but this goal ranks up there for memories in this first full season?
Absolutely, especially to get that win for the seniors. It was very special. It's definitely a game that I'm never going to forget, and it was great to send these guys out on top at home.